Hello, welcome to Caring Connections. I'm Sally Gibney. Well, we're back. This is the first time we've done a show in quite a while, and I'm so excited to be here. And today we're going to talk about Worldwide I Matter, You Matter Day. That's right, Worldwide I Matter, You Matter Day. Would you believe this is the 14th year that we have celebrated this year, and it's going around the world. Started in Manchester, Vermont, at Friendly's restaurant, where a couple of families just started coming together, and it's just grown from there. And it truly is around the world. And I'm so excited to have my two very dear friends here to share with me. Hello, Kristen.
Hi, good morning.
Kristen Costa, how are you? I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be
And
here.
Nancy Kimball, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
This is so neat. Now, would each of you share just a little bit about yourselves? Nancy? Nancy.
I'm just a retired mom, grandmother, advocate, volunteer, you name it. Try to keep busy. And in my busyness, I met you, Sally. So
Absolutely.
it's gone on from there. I'm very involved in the community and some volunteer activities. And,
You do a lot.
And it enriches my life,
Of course
so
it does.
I don't find it to be a chore at all. It's really fun.
But one thing I have to say to you, Nancy Kimball, is
Okay.
don't ever say just, because just is, you are everything. You are such a,
Well, thank you.
wonderful
Thank
friend and a
you. Thank
community
you.
volunteer and mama and grandma and everything else. And there's a lot to that. That's huge.
Hi.
Kristen.
So fifth grade teacher, that's how we met, through having your grandson and being, coming into the classroom and sharing your beautiful message, and just kind of our friendship grew from there. Also a mom of two.
Two beautiful little girls.
Yeah, two beautiful girls, love them to death. And yeah, just
Which is really wonderful. And I have to say that you are such an incredibly wonderful and gifted teacher.
thank you.
I mean, my grandson had such a crush on you. Truly, truly. And he wouldn't admit that, but oh yeah, Alan had such a crush on
Well, I
you.
loved him. He's such a
And
sweetie.
it was so sweet to be invited into your class when Alan was there. I said to him, Alan, Mrs. Costa invited me to come to your class to talk about the caring coins and I Matter, You Matter. And I said, is it okay if I come? And he said, well, yeah, Grammy, it's okay. And I said, well, you know what I say. Is there anything that I shouldn't say? And he said, well, Grammy, you say what you want to say, but just don't get carried away. Which I do. And I said to him, well, I'll tell you what, if I start to get carried away, you raise your hand and I'll stop. But it was wonderful,
So
and I
sweet.
came and spoke to his class with you a couple of times, and then you invited me back the following year. And we'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
absolutely.
Because it was just such a joy for me and such a treat. So let's talk about the importance of the I Matter, You Matter message. What do you think about it, Nancy?
Well, I have to say that obviously you introduced me to it, but the first time that we did coins together was for the Emmanuel House Christmas gift that our church had planned to give to all the people who were at Emmanuel House, and we gathered together.
Share with us, our audience, what Emmanuel House is.
Emmanuel House is a homeless shelter.
In Providence.
Overnight in Providence, overnight homeless shelter. And, we put together some gift bags, and
That was so much
Sally's,
fun.
we're at the meeting planning, and Sally says, well, I'll bring the I Matter, You Matter coins, like everyone should know what this
Yeah.
is, right? So when we were actually packing things up, and you had the coins, and you had, that was when I learned about I Matter, You Matter. And it just struck me. It was something I had never heard about, although the concept itself is one of being a good human being.
Absolutely.
And it's just really about seeing other people. I think it's so easy in our day to, just go to the cash register and not even say hello or greet or say anything to the person, pay and leave. even going in and out of a door, you know, when you're going into the supermarket.
Sure.
There's so many instances where you have a real opportunity to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, just to acknowledge that they're there. Hey, hi, okay, thank you. Or
I think we get so distracted. Life is so busy, and we don't think about it.
Right.
And once we do,
But then, you know, I find it to be such a rewarding thing when you smile at somebody, or you just say hello, or you say, wow, that sweater looks great on you. That's a great color for you.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy thing to do. And once you start doing it, it becomes a habit. I notice more about people.
Don't you feel great when you do it? I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it comes
well,
back.
that's what was going to be my point was, you know, and they go, oh, thanks, you know, and then I feel good because I've made somebody, you know, feel positive.
Well, you know, we are wired for caring. I mean, think about the endorphins that we have in us. You know, when we do something really special or something that's great, we get excited because we're really wired for it. Kristen, how do you feel about?
Well, I think the other thing too is you never know when somebody needs that connection or
for sure.
smile. You just never know what people are going through, and I think that's something really important. And I think too, now being a mom and seeing my oldest, she just catches on to anything. So if you start complimenting and saying hi to people, then she kind of starts doing the same thing, and it just starts spreading. And I think that with the kids in school too, and just seeing, I mean, the importance of that, they need to remember that they matter. And I think that's part of the big thing. We always talk about being kind, and it's being kind to other people, and but you also need to remember to be kind to yourself. And that's something I always try to bring back with I Matter, You Matter, especially because you have to be kind to yourself, and what's something you can do for yourself, and because that's important too, because you need to take care of yourself to continue to spread that kindness. And you know, it's a very important piece of the message that I Matter, You Matter.
It really does. And it's talking about the children. I mean, the kids, I just get such a kick out of the kids. You know,
they adore you.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Well, it's just, you know, I was I hadn't been speaking to young children that much. And then, you know, of course, having my grandson in the class, I was like, oh my goodness, you know. And I want to let you know what he was thinking, you know. And so it was just such a joy to be with the children and to be on the floor with them, you know, and just share and listening to them. I mean, how you are such a gifted teacher. I have to tell you, I was so totally touched by you and how kind you are with the children and the things that you do with them. And how do you see the children responding?
I think at some point in my teaching career, which I mean hasn't been that long, 10 or so years, but the social emotional learning has really become like a big piece. And it's honestly, it's so fun, and it's incredible the conversation you can have with kids really at any age, and just things like we've kind of thought through, but you've never talked through. And it's just, it's amazing the things that they learn and they teach you, and even, you know, me. But even through conversations with you, I can teach them things like being kind and writing notes and things like that. But the conversations that we have with you outside of curriculum or like a specific lesson, it brings so much more out of them. I'm shocked every time. Like there's always something that they're saying, and it's so genuine and kind and thoughtful, and it's just incredible what you can like emit from the children, and they're just so comfortable in sharing and talking about it. And it's the ones you would never expect are sharing things or saying these profound things, and I just kind of sit there in awe, and it's just like a comfortable, casual conversation, but it's so needed and necessary, and just to talk out loud.
Yeah, but it's important to have that opportunity, and you're giving them that opportunity, and it becomes more it becomes their nature. It's not like they're just doing it in school. I think it takes them out into the world as well.
And I think it's in them. You know, it's
there.
It is. It's
there.
definitely there, and it's a matter of we get so and God knows with all that's going on in the world today, there's so much that we don't even want to go there, but it's affecting everyone. You know, I think that everyone is concerned and stressed, and you try and go on with your everyday life, and it's hard because it's there. You know, it doesn't go away. You know it's there, and yet we want our children to have what we had. You know, I mean, I'm an old lady. I'm 84 years old, so that's, you know, and I think back to what I had and there were always stresses. There were always things going on. But today it seems to be more it's broader. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. And
Sure.
so to do, I mean, we all need to do what we need to do about whatever, but we also need to let our children be children, you
Right.
know, and let ourselves enjoy. And, you know, it's just so crazy. But so the message now, you have how many grandchildren?
4.
And
4.
their ages are?
Well, from 22 down to 13.
And talk about how things you do with your grandchildren and things that they come up with.
Well, they don't live near here. They live in Connecticut, so I don't get to see them very often, or not as often as I would, obviously, if they were here. But I think one of the biggest gifts that COVID gave us was using FaceTime.
Yeah.
And so we FaceTime a lot. That's
Don't you love it
our
when they
mode
call
of
you on FaceTime and you're not really
communication.
quite ready to be seen? You know?
Oh no, that's part of the fun. That's a great way to open a FaceTime conversation sometimes. Is, bedhead is.
I know. Grammy, what are you doing?
But it's, again, it's reality. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And so, those conversations, end up being, about just about anything and everything, and those are the ways that, those little small car ride conversations, that's always a good one, to get to know them better and to get to talk about these kinds of things, and they do, they're dealing with a lot. My grandkids are still in public school. The boys are older and in college or out of college. And there's a lot going on in these places, in these middle schools and high schools. And, talking about dealing with the static that can be around. So you never know when the conversation is going to come up.
No, and you don't know what's going to come up.
And you don't always have to bring it up because it can be, it just evolves out of what they're dealing with every day.
And then it's more natural. It's coming from them, and it just comes spontaneously. One morning, the phone rang, and the phone rings in the morning, and you're like, oh my God, who is it? And it was Matt's phone, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I said, hello? And I hear this little voice, and it says, hi, Grammy, it's me. I'm wrapped up in the blanket you gave me, and I'm thinking about you. Well, my heart, of course, just melted. And I was like, oh. And I can complain about technology, and all the things that are going on, but it's wonderful. I mean, this part of it is such a gift for all of us. It's really, really exciting to see it.
Even my 2.5-year-old FaceTimes. She doesn't really know what she's doing yet. And you can only see like this part of her face, but she loves it. Because she gets to see somebody, and then it's amazing. But they'll walk around and she'll try to show her toys or her baby sister. And it's just too funny. But it's a little scary how quickly they pick up on these types of things.
That's for sure.
And this is the thing. I mean, technology can, as far as I'm concerned, go a little bit too far. I mean, this AI, I am so concerned about that because I think it's taking away our personality and our personal things. And I'm fortunate to be participating with a class at the P Street School, and the students, they're fabulous. They're 10th graders, and I just adore them. And talk a little more about them later. But and they're artists. Some of them are fabulous artists. And one of the girls was saying how AI is changing her paintings, correcting them. And she said, that's not what I did. That's not how I did it. That's not what I wanted to express. And I said, you mean they're actually changing what you did? And she said, yeah. And I thought, this is scary.
Yeah.
This is really, really scary to take away some of our own individuality and personality. But that's for another conversation. Kristen, the children at your class.
Yeah.
We were talking about them. In fact, we were saying we're going to do a book about them, right?
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
As I said, Kristen was so kind to invite me 3 different times to the last class, and we had such a good time. And we were outside, and we had played ball, and then the kids went off playing ball. And I looked at this class, and I said, these children look at them. They're they're just together. You know, it isn't like some of them are over here and some of them are over there. And they were all running together. And one of the students is in a wheelchair, and the kids are taking turns pushing the wheelchair. And oh, it's my turn, oh, it's my turn. And it was just a very incredibly diverse class.
Yeah.
And to see these children being one was such a gift. Do you find that certain groups are more congenial, or do you find that with all the kids, that they all do come together?
I definitely find at the younger levels, it seems like there's less separation between the kiddos, but I definitely think it depends on the year and the class and the makeup. And that year it was they were just all friends. Like anybody could be with anybody for anything, and it just was like, okay. And they'd go off and do it. They're very like collaborative and welcoming. And I find that to some extent every year. Usually they're all really good working together, but then like, you know, if it's recess or something, they'll go off and like do their own thing. But this class was very like, if we were just out and it was our class, they were just like all doing something together, which was really incredible to see. And that's something that, you know, I can foster as a teacher, but I can't teach them to do that. And it's just something they have within them, and they're like, and I think when you see other kids doing those things, then they're more apt to also do those. You know, they kind of feed off of each other. So I think that's just, I mean, kudos to them.
And what grade level?
5th grade.
5th, okay, yeah.
And they, you know, I think when they see it with others, as you say, they kind of are more open to doing it. You know, it's okay to do this.
Like it's cool to be kind, you know? Oh, okay, I can do that. Yeah.
No, I think in our hearts and our souls, we really do care. And as I said, we're wired for it.
But I think it is easier for some people than others.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So in that case, I think you have to develop your own way of reaching out and you know, showing somebody else that they matter. So it's
not
personal. It's still personal. It's not a generic thing. It's very personal.
Yeah, and I'm one of these people. I talk to everybody. You know,
we know that.
That's not, you know. And my children would say to the grandchildren, "Now, don't talk to strangers unless you're with Grammy."
As you know, she is.
But and yet. It is true. It's very personal, and I hesitate sometimes because I share my coins and I talk to everybody, and but then I sometimes hesitate because I'm concerned that the people I'm with might be uncomfortable with me doing it. You know, and I had said that one time we were at dinner with family, and I said I had given coins out to the waiter and whatever, and I said, I hope this doesn't embarrass you. And one of the members of the family said, well, it does. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I don't mean to embarrass you. I just do it, you know. But you're right.
It's
Everyone
easier
isn't
for some
comfortable
people
with
than
it.
others.
You know, it's something that we all, and I think we all have to kind of embrace who we are.
Exactly.
And do it in any way that we can.
Yeah, in your own way.
Yeah. But today I think it's so important.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a very, and I don't think it's limited to any particular age.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think the little ones, you know, we were watching football players. I was up in Somerville. This was when Wes was much littler. And the team, it's a very diverse team, and the ball came over towards us, and Wes and I are standing on the other side of the fence watching, you know. And when one of the players came over to get the ball, and I said to him, you guys are so great. My son used to play football, and I love watching football, and you've got some really good plays there. And he said, oh, thank you so much. And I said, I'd love to watch you play. And he said, well, we have a game Saturday. Can you come? And I said, no, I'm not going to be here, but, you know. And then he took the ball, and he went off. And Wes looked up to me, and he said, Remy, why are some people different colors than other people? And I said, well, that's just the way they're born, honey. And he said, but inside we're all the same, aren't we, Grammy? And I said, yes, honey, inside we're all the same. Yeah. So children don't come seeing a difference. Yeah. It's something that happens as we grow. And yet it can change. Yeah. You know, and I think just by exposure and reaching out and What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think it's, you know, something that's very attached to maybe the area that you're living in. Sometimes there are certain communities that just aren't, you know, diverse enough to really have exposure. You need, I think, especially for children, you know, they need to have the experience of being with a person of color or somebody with a handicap that, you know, is different, and find out that, you know, they're inside, their heart, their soul, their, you know, personality is there. It's, you know, you don't, well, the old don't judge a book by its cover, but it's not always an easy concept to teach children, for sure.
Yeah.
So
And I think just being, well, you're the teacher.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it kind of does go with like exposure and learning, and it's like the more you know and have an experience with it, it's just kind of the more almost like normal it seems.
That's
because
exactly.
it's like what you don't know, you just are curious about, or you know.
Yeah.
Or you fear.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know, somebody who's different or something that's different, we hesitate, we pull back.
Yeah.
And yet, if we can all share just a simple little act of caring.
Yeah.
You know,
even as a teacher or like an adult, not you know, certain situations or having to teach kids that might need to be taught in a different way, it can be daunting at first. Then you realize it's just like any other situation or any other, you know, kiddo.
How do you do that? I mean, you come into a classroom and you have all these children and you're just meeting them for the first time, and each one is different. How do you start developing a relationship with each of these children?
You know, I always think of that, and I think, I mean, I love teaching. The class sizes are very large.
Well, it's very obvious that you do.
Yes, they're very large. So I will say it makes it a little bit harder to create those individual connections when you have maybe 27, 28 kids, because you want the time to be able to like spend with each of them. But so you do your best to make the connections that you can in the short time you can. And really it's in those like small moments or small groups, or you know, when you come in and chat, it's just times where you get to talk to the kids, and it might, you know, it's not during a math lesson, or it's, which are all good
you have
things,
a curriculum
but
that
exactly, but there's also things we have to be teaching, which are good and beneficial, but it's really in like small groups, or working on a problem or a project, or even just like working on work together and watching the kids do it, and that's, I feel like, you know, the most rewarding is seeing them help each other, and then like working with the kids, and kind of collaborating. I feel like that's, or doing big like when we do projects with I Matter, You Matter. Honestly, I love the social emotional activities and projects we get to do, and
what kind of projects do you do?
We, well, in addition to a lot of the I Matter, You Matter, me and another colleague a long time ago, she started the Kind Squad, and then I adopted it to my class as well. Kind Squad. So we actually meet every week or every other week with our classes, come together, and we're always doing a different project. One time we did the letters to the veterans.
This was so special.
Yeah.
And but you, Kristen, are such a, as I said before, such a gifted human being, but a gifted teacher, in that, you know, I was in my car after being with the kids, and I was going to the veterans home, and I sat there in the car and I thought, oh my gosh, you know, what if the kids could do cards for the veterans? So I said to Kristen, what do you think? And so
we were on it. We're always looking for great things to do like that, because we might not have a connection to a place, so that was great.
They were so, I think we'll put it up on the show, because I have a picture of the cards that these children created for the veterans. Pictures of the flag. Thank you for your service. We have what we have because of you. These are things that each of the children did their own. It was mind-boggling.
It's amazing. It's like I said, it's great to see what the kids do, and it's my class being on the older side. It's great because they kind of get to like pair up with the younger ones and mentor and work together. So I think that that's great as well. But we're always doing something like around test taking time, where we do try to do a lot around school, like put up posters because the state testing can be so stressful for kiddos. And one thing we should do every year is we try to make like a note or a kind quote or something, but enough for every student in the school, and then we put however many we need for each class, and we deliver that envelope so that every student has like a little kind note on their desk for one during testing, and just things like that to try to get, and then they end up coming up with their own, like almost every year I think I have a group of kids that want to go do like a litter cleanup at recess outside or anything like that. And then when I Matter, You Matter Day comes around, and Sally encourages them to create their own poster, their own coin or whatever it may be, and they all do that as well.
It's amazing. And do you believe we only have like 5 minutes left? I want to share that it's not, we've been talking a lot about students and children and all of this sort of thing, but what about adults?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's right now in my life, that's most of my connection is with other adults. And, there's a lot of people that just, again, like my whole thing is just, I see you. That's one of my, no matter where I am.
Well, that's beautiful. That's true.
That's really, it is so easy to, say something nice to a person. And you know what? My life can be lonely too sometimes. So it's nice to connect with somebody for just a half a second or a minute or two and go on with your day. It really makes it a whole lot better. So that's kind of where I
love that. I love that. I see you.
That's the kind of like the sentiment that I like to carry around with me all day. Yeah.
Because we, and seniors especially, I think, you feel like with all that's going on that we're not really a part of that, that it's, we're sort of beyond some of that. So how do we include each other in that?
And based on your mobility and your ability to get out, sometimes that getting out once a week, whether it's, just to do a few errands, it's their, a connection to the world around them. And so it's a great opportunity to say something or put out a hand when they
call someone,
or even call someone. Exactly. There's so many ways that you can reach out. They don't even have to be face to face.
I think. What do you think about reaching out to people you haven't seen in a long time that were
it's a struggle. I think for all of us, it's a struggle. Oh, I haven't. I really should. I really. And then I always find that when I finally do it, it's so rewarding. It really is. And
often
because
that person is thinking the same thing. Like they just hesitate to do it.
Right. We all know, like, you get busy, life gets in the way, and but or even distance can get in the way if people have moved away. And so, keeping those connections, even if it's been a long time, it's always worth going back to. Because you like you said, you find out the other person's feeling exactly the same way.
And even, just going back on those old memories, or, revisiting things that you did together or times that you had together, I think it's really important. And then what about, oh my goodness, 2 minutes. What about people like you who have little ones at home and you're...
I think that's in the space that I'm in my life right now, being, a new mom. I think it's out there a lot too, but I think it's important for moms to remember that they matter, because you have to take care of yourself in order to be like the best version of you for your children, which I think it's hard sometimes to be like, I need some help or I need a minute, because you want to show up 100% for your kiddos. So it's important for moms, especially new moms, to remember you matter also. Ask for help, take the help. But I think it's an important message, and just at the very root of it, it's just like a centering message, because you're right, life's busy and gets in the way, and you kind of forget what's important, and you just have to stop and remember and think I matter, you matter, that's really all that matters. Take a second, recenter yourself. You know what I mean? Because I need to do that, I feel like, multiple times on a daily basis. You just forget, it gets busy, so it's important to remember.
It is, for every single one of us, every single person matters, and we wrap up, he says. Okay, Holly, I'll wrap up. This has been so wonderful, hasn't it? It's been so much fun. I think we have to have a part 2, because there's so much more that we can share and so much more that we need to say. And for all of you out there, you so matter. And until next time, keep on making those caring connections.